Well, this is actually second Libation Live. On a Sunday morning, we're doing Bloody Marys. I know it's a little early, probably. Next time we'll do this at 11, a little more of a brunch time of day on a Sunday Funday. My name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, all about compact travel so we can explore travel, discover more happiness. Thank you for being here today with me. I appreciate that, watching the live or watching the replay. Got a couple for subjects to talk about today related to van life travel in particular. I'm a 6-year veteran of van travel. Of those 6 years, 5 are full-time in this very van. This is my Winnebago Travato 59 GL. They don't really make this floor plan anymore, but it doesn't matter what kind of vessel you use for traveling. It's all about getting out there and discovering what makes you happy. We're going to talk about today connectivity for the internet. We're going to talk about harvest hosts. That's where this comes from, and that's where my Bloody Mary idea came from today. This is from Chain Bridge in Oakland Park, Florida. This is a harvest host site. That's how I discovered this. This is basil flavored vodka made with fresh basil from Florida, and we're going to taste this in our Bloody Mary here in just a moment. If you're drinking morning coffee, that's fine too. And then we're going to talk about internet. For me, this was a huge hassle. We're going to give you a couple examples of how to improve your connectivity on the road. And if somebody, you can certainly leave a comment here. I see Endless Epic Adventures, good to see you. And here's Bill and Joe, good to see you. And if you can give me a thumb up, Endless or Bill and Joe, on my audio. I'm trying a new deal today. Trying to simplify the audio, and just want to make sure that's coming through okay. So just give me a thumb up. I appreciate that. The other thing I want to talk about today is winterizing. So this is middle of November. We're coming into the winter season in another month or two. It's really going to be cold in most places in the country. I'm coming at you from home base, West Palm Beach, Florida, where it's actually cooling down. The high today is 74. And it's going to be almost in the high 60s tonight, which is great. So no AC needed. That's the first time in Florida in many moons. And then the next thing I want to talk about, so that's kind of about winterizing. We want to have a chat about winterizing. I actually don't have any experience with that, so we'll get your thoughts on that. And then next trip, where are you headed to over the next couple of months? And we're going to do a little bit of a sneak peek on what's coming in January regarding the Florida RV Super Show in Tampa. So we got a lot going. The first order of business, though, is let's make a cocktail. I get it's a little early, I agree. But nonetheless, join me if you can. So here I got my kitchen set up. What's missing? You and the vodka. So what I'm going to do, I've put together some, and I'm asking what's also missing here. So here's my little Swizzler, right? Normally I would have bacon and shrimp on this, but I didn't have any bacon or shrimp in my fridge or freezer. So what I'm going to do, what's really nice about this, you smell that? It's just such a subtle hint of basil. And I've tried this before. And we'll do 1.5 ounces of the basil vodka. And then we're going to do, oh yeah, this is pretty good stuff too. So what I have stopped doing is buying the big bottles of this stuff, because I use these kind of infrequently, and they store really nice under my bed. And let's do that. Gotta have a dash of that, right? Now if I had some celery salt, I'd probably put this in here too. A couple drops of that. This is amazing fluid. Flavor fluid, right? I kind of miss they don't use the paper packaging anymore. You know, all for the efficiency. Okay, we'll dump this. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Yum. Oh man, that basil just gives it enough. And we got Mark's out of Memphis. Thank you for being here. Fair's in here. Thank you for being with us today. Appreciate that. Great sound. Thank you, Bill and Joe. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm probably going to do a little product video here soon. I've really been trying to up my game on a portability and mobility for my gear. I keep getting better at this. You'd think after 6 years, right? All right, let's go back to the table. Yum. are you having for breakfast? And put that there. Then I will move this over here like that. Try not to bounce things too badly. There we go. All right, so the first thing I want to kind of talk about is, and if you have any questions on these topics or others, I'm happy, of course, to, man, that was pretty good. Let's try that again. Let's talk about internet. When I started part-time back in October of 2018, it was my number one concern. At that time, I was gainfully employed, corporate America. My CEO, which gave a tentative blessing on me working from the road full-time. His only concern was connectivity, and he did not want to hear about me missing deadlines, meetings, etc., because I had no connectivity. So that was something I solved ASAP. What I learned is this is good for intermittent use here and there, the hotspot for streaming from, but I typically go through 500 gigabytes to a terabyte of data per 30-day cycle. So I had to figure out a better way, and this little guy has been with me. I've replaced the hardware twice. This is a Wifi from T-Mobile, and I'm going to demonstrate what this little guy does versus my current favorite method of getting internet. So I'm in my van, clearly. Even though I'm at home base, I stay in my van. Why? I love my van. And what I have under the table, maybe I'll turn this around really quick so you can see this. Under the table is, right there. See it on the left? The big black hose. That was cord hider, but the big black rectangle standing on the floor is, wait for it. Oh yeah, that's my T-Mobile 5G gateway. It's always on internet. It's meant for a residential situation. I actually purchased that in October of 2022 at an RV show at a T-Mobile booth. And it does require the inverter to be on, or in this case, I'm plugged into shore power. I have a lithium system. So as I drive, I make my own electricity, which is super awesome. So just having it plugged in doesn't take a whole lot of juice. It allows me to have internet on always, unlike this guy, which is kind of unlimited data, but it's limited on battery. That is, the T-Mobile is not limited on battery because it plugs in. So I'm going to do a speed test for you on the T-Mobile, and we're going to do one on the Wi-Fi. And then I'm going to talk quick about public internet. So let me just verify here for you. Go like this. You can see that my Wi-Fi is on the T-Mobile. That's my network name, Go Small, Live Large. Clever, right? And so what I'm going to do is go to, this is the speed app there. See the little dial? This one right there. See if I can do this. What? Nope. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so it comes up. If you haven't got this app, it's literally called Speed Test. I'm going to touch the go, and then this is, again, coming off the T-Mobile. So you can see the download speed is pretty awesome. Almost 400 megabits per second download. Right? There we just crossed 400. So now what it's going to do, it's going to measure the upload speed. Again, these are megabits per second. So 22, I typically get 25 to 50 in this location, home base, which is sufficient for uploading videos, doing live streams, etc. Not bad, right? So now what I want to do is, and it's on 5G, right? So I'm going to change the network. Give me a thumb up if you're having fun learning anything. And you see here it says Verizon. That's this little guy, right? So I'm going to touch that to connect, and we'll probably get a network device that's connected. That'd be my phone. Touch that. Okay. The touchscreen is 1980 style. Anyway, okay, so now you can see it's connected to my Verizon, right? Or yeah, to the hotspot. And let's do the same speed test. Here it goes. Again, this is 4G on this guy and 5G on the other one. So you can see it's a dramatic difference on the download speed. This is, what is it, 88 megabits per second download. Very good. upload, ironically, is a little faster on this. So it's kind of interesting. Two different carriers, two different technologies, 4G versus 5G, and very different speeds. So I really, if I didn't have the 5G gateway down below under the table, connected to my own account and everything, I'd have to be sapping off the Airbnb house network, which is way up there, and I probably would have to completely reorient my rig. So I would have you do some research. Now, some will say, I've had the T-Mobile gateway for 2 years, and some will say that they are cracking down on people transporting these things. 2 years, I've never had a problem. So if and when that happens, okay. Let me talk about public quick. Shall we have a sip? I'll stir it up, right? There's something about a Bloody Mary in the morning. I can't really drink it during the day, but in the morning, that's pretty awesome. So let me talk to you about public. This is a lesson I learned the hard way many years ago. A lot of places say they have Wi-Fi available, and that's kind of true. The best places I've seen to get free Wi-Fi is at a library. Generally, sometimes, excuse me, bars or restaurants have Wi-Fi. But here's the deal on that. I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars getting some Wi-Fi from a restaurant, only to get there, get ordered, get all excited, get my coffee, and then try and connect my iPad, my MacBook Pro, whatever it is, to their network. Because a lot of them have passwords on them. And they kind of expected, they kind of expect you to obviously buy something. So the mistake I made was I get all my orders in and spend 20 bucks on stuff, and then I try and connect, and it was absolutely useless. For the purpose I was actually there, which is Wi-Fi, just being a good customer to spend a few minutes or a few bucks to get access to that. So now what I do when I go to someplace public is I check using the Speed app, the speed, before I buy anything. And if there's usually a password, so I'm saying, hey, I'm going to buy some stuff. Only if your network is good. Happy to pay for delicious meal, beverage, whatever. But I'm really here for the network. Speed is important. So I get their password, I type it in, and I use Speed Test app. And if it's anything less than satisfactory, and for me, 10 to 20 megabits per second down and maybe 5 to 10 megabits per second up is a minimum, I go to the next place that advertises Wi-Fi. You can see the network selection, right? And down the street. And I let them know I'm not going to be a paying customer, because while you advertise Wi-Fi, it's useless. So that's a tip for you. Again, public libraries usually have pretty good stuff. Where else have I had pretty good luck? A lot of times I bring this in my backpack, just, so I can minimize running around looking for good Wi-Fi. And those have worked really well for me over the years. You might be asking about Starlink. I have very limited, I don't have Starlink at all. I have had limited experience on Starlink, and that is with Neil and Britt. They have a great YouTube channel called Neil and Britt. And these work great in, kind of city areas, but the more remote you are, these probably aren't going to work. In which case, Starlink is pretty good. We were camping with Neil and Britt, and we got to see their Starlink in action. I think we had there was 5 vans. We had, 12 different devices connected to their Starlink, and we were still getting past 100 megabits down and probably 15, 20 up, if I remember right. So in that case, it's a great situation. And Starlink has been kind of all over the place on this. I don't have any current information. This is just what I've used, because I'm not going into the woods so remote by myself for weeks on end. So there you go. Questions on that? Let me just look here quick and see if there's any questions. Baja Bound, good job. Morning, Scott. Salty Medic says. Good to see you. Thanks for being in here. We got a nice group. Okay, let's talk about Harvest Host. I like Harvest Host because 3 reasons. There's 9,000 different places across US and Canada. Some of those 9,000 sites are commercial ventures, meaning a business, and many of those are private property. And if you buy the entire package, private property, residential, commercial property, and golf courses, you really rarely am I in a Harvest Host desert, meaning there's no sites around. There's usually something. They've even got churches going now. And what I like about it is the availability of all these sites, and they've kind of changed the game on the commercial. Many of those now allow you to stay for a charge. The first night's kind of free, but they expect you to buy something, and some of these sites allow you to stay a second, even third night, which is real nice. It's usually way less than a RV park or a campground or something like that. You generally have to be self-sufficient, meaning water, sewer, electricity is not supplied in many of these situations. But the Boondocker Welcome portion of the program is on private property, and many of those do have water and electricity at a small charge. And you can stay in many of those places from 3 to 5 days. So you might roll into a commercial on a winery, farm, something like that, discover you really like the area, find a Boondocker Welcome in your area. I found that they are usually former or current RVers, so they kind of get the game, and you can stay there and kind of explore the area much more readily with a few days of a stay. I think that's pretty cool. So that's number one, right? Is all the places. Number two is if it's a commercial business, you get to meet the maker, whether they're doing honey or cheese or meat or eggs or beer or wine or distillery. You get to meet the people making it, and for me, that's really given me a sense of appreciation for what it takes to put that egg on the table, to put that wine in your glass. So I really like it for that. You get to meet the maker and get a better understanding of how things are made and what it takes and why prices are sometimes what they are. Cheers. I'm telling you, the basil makes all the difference in that. And the next thing, the third reason, and this is probably my most favored reason for using Harvest Host, is it takes me to places I wouldn't go. A lot of them are off the beaten path. A lot of them are in small towns. A lot of them are in downtown urban environments. One of my favorites is, I can't remember the actual name of the brewery, but it's in downtown Houston, literally like 10 blocks from downtown Houston. And some of these are in the middle of absolutely nowhere, wineries. And let me tell you, once you experience a full moonrise, sitting in a vineyard, drinking the wine you bought earlier that day, met the winemaker, you really haven't had the full band experience. It's pretty awesome. So if you're not signed up for Harvest Host, do that. Just go to harvesthosts.com and you get all the information there. Again, thanks to Chainbridge for being a Harvest Host site. Bill and Joe, you've been here with me, right? It's pretty awesome. We might do another one of these. They're doing cocktail hours around gin was the one we went to last time. So again, I wouldn't even know about this, wouldn't even experience the flavor and get to meet the maker without Harvest Host. So by the way, I'm not making a dime off any of this stuff today, just FYI. How are we doing? Any questions? Let's see. Salty Medic says, love Harvest Host and Boondocker Welcome. Love the breweries. Yeah, it's just great. And the patrons of these businesses, I was in one in Indianapolis. It was a cool brewery too. People see the rig and they come out and they're like, "You look like the RV guy." I'm like, "Yep." And they're like, "Inevitably, I'm giving an RV tour of the band because people just think it's so cool," which I don't disagree with. Cool. All right, a couple more topics, and then we will call it a wrap because you probably have things to do today. Me too. Uh-oh, guess what? I lost my cheese. Now I gotta fish for it. I really need cubes to do this right. Oh man, now it's just breaking apart. I caught one. Okay, hold on. Flush it down, why not? All right, winterizing. I have no experience with this because I never winterized my van. I've always been running to warm spots. So I'm curious if you have any suggestions on storing the van. I don't have a lot of experience, but I heard others say that they drain all the water. If you're going to be in a cold environment, put antifreeze, get all the water out, blow the water out, so there's nothing sitting. Drain your Truma. My Truma company is sitting under me, or am I sitting on top of it? How does that work? So there's no liquid water in the rig, and then put some antifreeze in some of the like the toilet and plumbing system so it doesn't freeze. I think if we get all the water out full that, and then just store it if you just store it. And I don't have a lot. I've got zero experience in it. Now, if you go cold weather camping, like Mike and Jen of RV Lifestyle, they flush their toilet with RV antifreeze. So that's how they get around not having to have water in there and be worried about the rig freezing up. They live up in Michigan and have a place in Florida. But when they go cold camping, they be camping out in January, and they flush the toilet with antifreeze. They get back home base and they empty it up and what have you. I'm curious what heat source you use if you are in cold weather. If I am plugged into shore power, I use the shore power electric in my thermocombi, which is right here, right? And if I am going rogue, like at the Harvest Host site, I would use propane. Propane is much more efficient, creates way more heat, and is just a great source. I mean, the trim is so efficient and it gets so hot. Anything below about 40 degrees outside, I've discovered that the electric heat elements can't keep up, whereas the propane burner in the thermocombi is very hot, and you'll actually be turning down the heat because it gets pretty warm. And I fill from half, so I got like a 6-gallon tank propane under the vehicle, and I fill it from half to full about 4 times a year. And if I'm making hot water, I use thermocombi. It makes the 2.5 gallons of hot water. It takes about 15 minutes, and it's pretty effing hot when it's coming out. So it works really well for that. Let me know what experience you have around winterizing. This one's got winterizing your rig, because I don't have experience. If it's snowing, I'm running to where it's not snowing. Okay, how are we doing? I'm breaking up. Hopefully not. Green, got blue. All right. One more topic. I want to know where your next trip is. Are you headed someplace warm, like people do? Come down to the south, Florida, and or do you just store the rig for the winter? We'd be very curious about that. So let me know where your next trip is. Just type that in the comments. My next trip is, I'm actually headed out on Tuesday of this week. I'm headed to Gainesville, Florida. Why? Good question. Headed there to work with Sunshine State RVs in Gainesville, Florida. I'm actually going to borrow one of their road track chase camper vans. I'm going to overnight in it next Wednesday. And we will be doing What's Up Wednesday live from that rig. I'm going to give you a tour, give you my thoughts, talk about road track, maybe as opposed to some of the other brands I overnighted in. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to make some videos with Nick Schmidt at Sunshine State RVs on Thursday. So I'm going to leave on Tuesday, come back around probably Friday. So I'm excited to get away from home base, and that's where my next trip is. And then we'll rinse and repeat. So I mentioned the Florida RV Super Show. I am going this year. I am going for the entire week. We'll make some big announcements probably next month, but know that camping, I think, is all sold out. It's pretty expensive. It's about $500 for a 30-amp service for the entire week. I'm actually staying at a hotel across the street because all the camping's sold out. I got a lot of stuff going on, so I just need to be able to walk over there. I might drive my van, but we'll see. So my van's not part of the show, right? So I just walk over there with my backpack and be set, not stress out about it. But I will be doing the Florida RV Super Show, which is mid-January in Tampa, Florida. So if you're coming to that, we got some channel roundups, meet and greets, at several brand booths, and look forward to seeing many of you there. In fact, the Salty Medic, we met in person there a few years ago. So he's saying, Salty Medic says, I use the compressed air method, just blow it out and ping stuff in the traps. Next trip, Florida. Next up being the RV antifreeze, which is non-toxic, kind of interesting. I wouldn't want to drink it, but it won't kill you, according to the label. So yummy. All right, folks. Well, I just want to thank you for joining this kind of scheduled but a little loose on content. Libation Live will do these occasionally, and we have a morning coffee with me, Scott, coming up. I think it's on Monday the 25th. It's on my website, Go Small, Live Large, and we'll do a coffee in the morning coming up soon. And I've got some other events planned between now and the end of the year in the Florida area, including a roundup. So we all get together. We're going to do a sunrise over the sea again. Not in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to do it in Boynton Beach. We experimented with this yesterday. It worked out perfect. We actually did a moonrise last night. It was really cool seeing the moon come up over the horizon of the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. If we can make that happen, not on a weekend night like it was last night, it was super busy. Mornings are nice because the parking lot's probably empty. So we'll probably do a sunrise. Those are a lot of fun for those of you that have attended that. All right, folks, I'm going to finish my libation and get to work on more channel stuff. So appreciate you watching the live or the replay. Really appreciate that. Like I always want to say is journey on and peace be with you. We will see you soon. And where do I go to end this? Here. Thanks, folks. Really appreciate you watching.